So everybody get up. Give it to him. Okay, now everybody get up. nobody's here, so I can dance and do what I want to. I like that. Yeah, I like that. Oh, bam, boom, bam, wham. Yeah, save this. I gotta save this. Ah, boom, bam, boom, wham, boom. What is today's date? Today is today's date 7. Hmm. Oh, May. Well, half the year is gone. May already. May. And baby, I'm not a ah. Also, I learned a new scale today. It was what up? Blessings, blessings, my brother Jay. I'm just on here vibing, man. Just chilling. You know what I'm saying? Trying to learn some new chords because I really lack in the chord business. D6, D6. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to tighten up my music game because you guys seem to be somewhat interested, and I just feel like I can't keep doing the same chords. I got chords that I like, even though I don't know them. I'm gonna tell you something. I don't know how to play the piano. I just listen for the notes, and then I what I do is I go online, I go on YouTube, and I listen to somebody's song, and then I can hear what chord they're using, or not what chord, what scale they're using, and then I come to my computer and turn on my Logic. And in Logic, it tells you what chord it is when you. So when I listen to the scale, if I listen to. That's the scale. So I know that there are chords in that scale. So that's what I do. I start looking, you know what I'm saying? That's how I do it. So I go, okay, this is the scale they're using. Ba, 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 ba. Take the 7 notes, and then I just start filling out the trifectas, and I do them like that. But I don't know the circle of fourths or the circle of fifths or the major minors to them. But I use the computer to help me out. Okay, well, there you go. You know more than I do. Yeah, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of do it like that because I'm not as didactic as a lot of people when it comes to, I took some music lessons, but it just hurt my head because it was so, you know, 1, 2, 3, you know what I'm saying? Beat measures and that. But I still gleaned something from it, but it's kind of tough for me. I'm just a kind of free, let's see what I can figure out. That, so when something is really constructed, it hurts my creativity. I just like to go, what's this? What's this? And then what can I do with this? Then I try to figure out what scale it's in, or, what I'm saying, how to scale it, and see if it scales up all 7 notes and how far I can go with the scale. And, I just like to, you know what I'm saying? And then what I do is I find a bass. So, like I said, I really don't put a lot of thought into it. I go into the program and I look for different basses that they have because they have a lot of funky ones. You know what I'm saying? That's a phantom bass. So if I wanted to use this with and then said, you know what, that's a phantom bass, but I want to still use some type of key, some type of piano, or maybe an arpeggiator or something like that. Then I try to match up what can go with, and then try to match the scale, and then that's how I make a song. So I'll take this bass and go, what scale do I want to use? Major or minor? So if I want to say major scale, that's all in the major. That's all major keys. If I want to go minor, I'll go up here to the F sharp keys for the black keys. And woo, you know how deep that got? Now, I kind of like that. Let me see my beats per minute. Now I got to figure out my pattern, how I want to. Do I want to go, or do I want to keep my fingers on it and go? Because it has a different effect. You know what I'm saying? Because if you want your you want to. So if you do that, you're only going to. You know what I'm saying? Depends on your pattern. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. Or if you want to. So let me throw down a quick drum pattern real quick. But this is just the way I do it. So I go in here and I don't know what drum pattern I'm going to use, but I just try to pick something that's kind of funky. I'll take that. It's a simple drum pattern. I'll go back up here to my bass and try to. take that. I'll just loop that. Something real easy. You can change it anytime. Snare's already in there. I put the snare and the bass hit at the same time, just to shorten things up. Because I'm not going to manipulate them too much. I'll add some, okay, so I'll add a channel to it. Here's a channel. Then I'll add I'll always add an exciter. Bring it up. Then I'll add a spreader to it. And sometimes I like the adaptive limiter. So that's as loud as I want it. And I'll probably take the exciter out because it's glitching. But, you know, you can always add in a compressor. But just for this purpose, I'm not really worried about it glitching because I'm not going to produce the whole thing out and put it in my car like this, you know, and listen to it. Then I would have to get rid of the red and all that. But, so I have this, right? So I'll add another track. Just because I like this. And then I'll try to find some. Boom, there it is. Messed up. Let me get my. Because I don't want this to be too loud. It's kind of ugly, but just for the purpose of making a video, I'm kind of going through stuff. So I'm just going to loop this. Then I'm actually going to put this on and turn it. I'm going to put this on a channel, and then I'm going to lo-fi it. I'm going to turn down the highs on it. Or I could just put it on a drum bright hat. And that's a lo-fi right there. You know what I'm saying? But I like this a little better. I just turn the highs down. Oh, everybody's gone? Anyways, thanks for stopping by. Lead for it. I just kind of like to chill out. Maybe I could lo-fi this. You know what I'm saying, or something like that. But Let's see what this has on. A compressor, silver. Okay. Oh, it's jazz. If it's off key, it's jazz. Y'all know that. If it's off key, it's jazz. That's nice. It's called an early morning lead. Yeah. Just messing around with it. This is not on the scale. But it fits. Anyway, so it's a different type of beat, you know what I'm saying? And then you can single it out or you can add some horns to it. This is, you know what I'm saying? Add some, oh, I like this. I like this kind of, huh. It gives it almost like a 40s type of, like a very retro. Except on the upper registry, I don't like it in there. I only like it down here. I only like it down there. Now I see all the late nights talking to you and Natalie, and it catches up to you. I'm 55, bro. You 40. Don't talk no trash until you get old. Don't talk no trash, bro, till you got some wrinkles. Alright? Until your knees can tell when it's gonna rain. Don't talk no trash. Yeah, bro. Shoot, I like to be in bed at 10 o'clock. God, you want the great. So, oh, you got me. See, I was telling Natalie, Natalie unsubscribed. Natalie's gone. She unsubscribed. Yeah, she unsubscribed. But she got mad at me. I don't care. She's one of those people that don't. She just doesn't like to talk about herself, and I wanted to know more. So there it is. It's all good, man. People unsubscribed all the time. All the time. I'm okay with that. I don't subscriber chase. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, she doesn't, I think that's why she took off. But, like I said, I don't subscriber chase, man. I don't say, please subscribe. And I just say, just give me a like. You know what I'm saying? And I barely even, I just don't ask a lot out of people who listen to me because I just appreciate people stopping by and listening to me. That's really where I'm at with it. You know what I mean? So I don't really. I try to tell you, man. When you get older, you just care a lot less about a lot of things. You really do. You really just like your energy level. To go after stuff that doesn't make a difference in your immediate life. You just don't do it. You don't chase after females because sex is not important. You don't chase after people's validation. You don't care. I mean, when I tell you when you get older, you mind your damn business, you really do. You really start minding your business when you get older. Man, gotta remain loyal to the soil, bro. Loyal to the top. We always disagree, but it's about understanding. Yeah. I mean, she's a cool chick. It's just that I understand that some people are very private. I'm not that private, you know what I mean? But I don't fuss with people about that. Yeah, I'm okay with people. I lose subscribers all the time because a lot of them don't like, that's what I'm doing now. They don't want to listen to long videos of me making up music and stuff. They want stuff that's right now. You know what I mean? They want 6-minute videos, 3-minute videos, 30-second videos. And I don't subscriber chase. I just don't. Another thing is, I don't make a lot of money off YouTube. I know people are like, oh, YouTube is a business. It is a business. But I don't make a lot of money off of it because I don't put the most effort into the money aspect of it. You know what I mean? I don't, do a lot of reaction videos because I think that's just lazy. I think reaction videos is the most laziest thing in the whole world. I think it is pure laziness. And then they want you to subscribe and buy their merchandise. It's like, for what? You put videos together that other people made. I just think it's, not unless it's well, it all depends. But the majority of time, it's just you're using somebody else's stuff, bro. You're not like if they had their own videos where they were doing something and that was hot, and then they did some kind of with other people and added them into it, I can see that. But most of these people who are doing these reaction videos, we're not gonna watch you by yourself. The only reason why we're watching you is because we want to see what these women have to say, because they're 40 and hitting the wall, so we want to hear what they have to say. So I appreciate you bringing all of them together, but I'm not going to subscribe to you because it's not your work that I'm really looking at. It's their work. You know what I mean? So that's my thing with it. And, I'm like, hey, if that's what you want to do, reaction videos is fine with you, but I'm never going to subscribe to a reactor, not unless their content actually, what I'm saying, got them there, their own content. Because I feel like I don't care what you do, if it's your content, you should get paid for it. And in reaction videos, it doesn't seem like the people are getting paid for their content. And I just got a major beef with that. You know what I mean? I don't like that at all. I don't care who it is. If it's their content, they should get money for it. So that's the way I look at reaction videos. Especially for people that don't say anything, they just look and then they're pointing at the video. It's like they're going, or they'll do something like the video will come on and somebody say, blah, 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 blah. Then they'll come on and say, you should go watch that video. It's like, we were trying to watch the video. Like, why did we need you? You know what I mean? We didn't need you to come. It's just, I think we need Topher every time somebody goes, go watch that video. We need Topher to pop up. We need Topher. We need Topher. Oh my God. Oh, I'm cracking myself up. Nobody's here. They're all going, oh my God. We need Topher to just come out of nowhere like, we were trying to watch the video, but you messed it up. Just, can I hire Topher to just, that is my dude right there. That is my dog right there. Where's Topher when you need him? I need. Oh my God! I just want to have a Topher meme and just hit people in the damn head every time. You should go watch it. We were trying to watch a damn video. Topher, where are you, my guy? Where's Topher? Oh my God. Oh my God. Where's Topher when you need him? Lost it. Where's Topher when you need him? What can I get you to do, right?
Yeah. Nobody's here, so I can do what I want. You know what I'm saying? I like neo soul type music. Even though I'm not good at making it, I still try. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you need to articulate. That's what's wrong with the world today. Nobody articulates. Just making some music, chilling out on Sunday. You're welcome to say hello and go on about your day. Or say and listen. I appreciate you either way. And regardless, if there's 10,000 people or if there's zero, this is what I do. However, if you want me to make a beat, I'll see if I can make one. Sometimes I can do it, sometimes I can't. But I will try to make a beat that you like, because I do sell them for $100. And then it's all yours. You know what I'm saying? You can do what you want with it. No copyright strikes. Unless you sell it to some big name and then they use it, then I want my 6 points. I get my 6 points. No. I can't get my 6 points. No. Damn. No 6 points. Damn. I can't get my 6 points. No. You're wrong for that. Y'all be wanting to give up them 6 points. Chris Brown beat up Usher. Chris Brown beat up Usher. What is going on in the world? Why did Breezy beat up why you gonna beat up Usher? Why? Why you beat up Usher, Chris Brown? What do you think about what they're saying about Tory Bowie? I did a whole video on that when it first came out. Okay, so the latest update that I heard about Tory Bowie is that she was pregnant and she didn't have a lot of money. She was no longer competing. She's 32. So she was no longer bringing in any money from track. I don't think she was doing any more modeling. So I think she lost, she didn't have an income coming in. So they did express how hard it is for, them growing up and how the parents, treated them, and they grew up in a very tough area, which she talked about that in one of her street interviews, where somebody had just walked up to her, saw her on the sidewalk, and was like, "Hey, you're Tory Bowie," and she did a whole interview. She wasn't living on the street; she was just out one day chilling, and so she was a great success. Her sister is a lawyer. Her sister is a practicing lawyer, for what we know. So they were very smart girls. And Tori had some type of issue. She was very pregnant. She was showing, looked like a little basketball down there. She was also thinner than usual. But when you don't run like that no more, you lose a lot of muscle mass. So she was already a very light person. I couldn't see her being much over 110, 20 pounds, if that. She's also a very light, very quick person. But once you lose that muscle mass, that's kind of it. So she was a very thin person. She, lived alone, obviously. She was very pregnant, very, very pregnant. And she would act erratically. Of course, this is all alleged. I don't know. I didn't know her. Her neighbors would say she was acting very erratic, and one day she was actually outside throwing eggs at her neighbor's door. So she was egging her. Don't forget to like the video, you guys. She was egging her neighbor's door, and at one time she was wielding a knife. So you have some very erratic behavior that was coming out of Tory, and they think she just kind of lost it. However, it still doesn't explain how they came to a conclusion of no foul play so quickly. And I don't think that they should have done that. But Tory was, known worldwide. You know what I'm saying? And she was loved worldwide because she was such a great competitor. She didn't give anybody any problems. When she competed, she was always a very kind person. When she was out competing, you didn't see her getting into any fights. You didn't hear about her, misusing drugs. You didn't hear about any of that. You just saw that she was a great competitor. She was an Olympian. She helped the USA. Of course, when you're on the United States, when you're on their docket to run and represent the United States, they're not going to put you out there looking stupid. You know what I mean? Meaning you're not going to be a rubble rouser. That's what I'm saying. So Tory just wasn't that person, even though she came from a very hard place, and she lived in Florida when it was all over. So I think it was a big mistake, not a big mistake, but I think it's all going to come out in the wash. There's just no doubt in my mind from the very beginning that I think that there's foul play. Now, some people are going to say, hey, you guys shouldn't say that there's foul play until the coroner says something. Okay, fine. But, everybody is speculative until the facts come out. And me, I looked at this whole thing and I said, one, she's a Black woman. They don't commit suicide, at a large rate. So that was that. Most of us are Christian. We believe you kill yourself, you're going straight to hell. Two, she had a baby in her stomach. So, you got a baby in there. I just don't think you're going to knock yourself off. But some people are like, it could be too much, for the female if she's by herself. She didn't have any financial help. She was struggling with finances. So people are speculating, hey, she could have took herself out and said, I'm not going to bring a baby in this world and have the baby struggle. But you got somebody who is in what trimester? The last trimester? It's kind of, when women don't want the baby to come into a violent situation, they do not wait until they're showing. They don't wait until the last trimester or the third trimester, whatever you want to call it. I'm not a doctor, and say, you know what? We're both out of here. This is not common to my knowledge. So if anybody has some statistical insights on that, I love statistics because we can always refer back to them and people can take their arguments to facts instead of hyperbole. So if somebody has stats on that, I'd love to hear it. But as far as I know, there are too many. If you did a swath and said people who usually commit suicide over here, people who usually don't, she's going to be on the don't side. I don't think this was a natural death. I even told the story in the last video I did on Tory on how I had a distant cousin who was 24 and died suddenly, and they said it was natural causes. She also had a child, but her child was like 2 or 3 walking around the house. She didn't show up to work or something for a couple of days. They did a welfare check and found the baby drinking toilet water and eating anything he could in the refrigerator. The woman had been dead for days. She was 24 years old. She was my brother's cousin. And he's the one who told me about this story. This happened a long time ago in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So there are cases where people will just die. Most of the time, these are elderly people. Usually this happens because someone that they loved passed away, and then they passed away with them. And a lot of times when this happens, they're sleeping. Now, once again, I'm not a coroner, I'm not a doctor. I have a degree in healthcare administration, which means I look at a lot of facts. So I'm a very factual person. Uh, so if you guys want to get into some facts, if you just want to go on DuckDuckGo and start looking up, how many people die of natural causes, within, the city, state, county limits, and that's all fine with me. I enjoy that stuff. However, at this point, being speculative, I'm going to say that she did not off herself. I smelled foul play from the very beginning, and the more we get into this, I mean, it's not even a week old, and all of a sudden we find out the woman was pregnant and, wielding a knife and throwing eggs at her neighbor's door. This didn't come out in the first videos. We didn't know this. Now the police are finding all this out because the people she lived around are coming out and talking about, listen, this woman was acting erratic. We didn't know why she was acting erratic. These are the same people, who call the police. And nobody knows who this lover is. And I think once this lover comes out, whoever this guy is that got Tory pregnant, once his mugshot, or his face is all over the internet, there's going to be some splaining to do. Now, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there are a lot of women who are dying because of one reason or another, and most of them are violent deaths. And this ranges from teenagers on up. A lot of these women are being offed. They're being taken off the planet early. Now, there's jealous lovers. One woman was jealous of another woman who she didn't even know this other woman, but the guy she was dating stopped dating her and found this other woman, decided to date her. The other woman was none the wiser of the whole relationship. She just thought she found a great guy and she was going on with her life. The other woman hired someone, a distant relative, and the distant relative took it upon himself to go and knock the woman off. Some of these women are hiring hitmen to go ahead and knock you off. Some people are being caught in drive-bys, and their women are being knocked off. There are a lot of women who are leaving the planet. And the majority of them are Black women. There is no holds bar on females anymore. There's not she's a woman, don't do this. No. That has been lifted. That veil has been lifted. The aggression level of men towards women has gone through the roof. And I warned you women years ago about this. I made video after video after video. You know how many hits those videos got? Like 10. I preached on this in ad nauseum because I saw it coming. And now we're here. Now females are not protected. They're not. And now females are scrambling for weapons. Females are, realizing that it's up for them. It's up. If they're not careful who they date, if they're not careful who they look at, and sometimes it has nothing to do with you being careful at all. You had no knowledge that this was coming down the pipe, and you were being watched for weeks. You were just a happy person going on about your business, and you just got shot in the head. And nobody knows why except a couple people who were jealous of you because you were minding your business. So this type of energy that's out there, it doesn't surprise me who gets hit. It doesn't. I mean, this is somebody who's known worldwide, just a great person for what we know. Came from a struggling situation, made it to a great situation, and went back to a situation where, things were getting rough again because of money. No more modeling contracts, no more track and field support, the last time she competed, she didn't make it to the next level. She competed in three different areas of track and field: the 100, the 200. I'm sorry, four different: the 100, the 200, the 4x1, and the long jump. So she was a champion in all of those arenas. As a matter of fact, her record just got broken by Sha'Carri Richardson. Sha'Carri Richardson just broke her record in the last race she just ran a couple days ago. So that was bittersweet, but it was held for 12 years. So Tori, she was great. She ran like a 10.7.1. She was brilliant, a brilliant runner, a brilliant competitor. And but once the lights go out, it's like, who's supporting you? She did not have a husband. And listen, I don't care what level of fame you're at. It is always good to have somebody in your corner. It just is. Having a husband, nowadays it's a bad thing, but men keep telling you women, because the divorce rate is off the chain, and most of the time it's women leaving their husbands. Do not leave your husband unless your husband's about to kill you or he's beating your ass. Work that out. But you women don't want to listen to us because men are toxic, men are masculine, with toxic masculinity and all this other BS you want to listen to. But when you get out there by yourself and your body starts falling apart, you no longer have those looks. Your tits are falling down and your ass is, need held up by some magic underwear. Then it's like, oh, woe is me, because no men are coming to your help anymore. We're not coming to help you anymore. You lost your looks. You lost your ability to sway us to do stuff for you for free. This is why you should have a husband. But a lot of you women are being stuck in this situation. You're out there by yourself and then things are happening to you. And I'm not blaming this on Tori. I'm saying that I wish somebody could have stepped in that loved her and helped her, because they saw what was happening to her. But your neighbors don't love you. That's not their job. She kept her relationships private. For the longest time, I wanted to know who she was dating so I could hate on them, because I thought she was a good-looking woman. So I was like, well, who's getting ready to put a ring on Tori Booty's finger? I want to know who's about to have a super quick baby. Who's going to have the next, child track star out there, because this girl, her genetics are like, these are prime genetics. A 10.7.1. A 10.7.1 can win you an Olympic medal. I mean, granted, now these women are running 10.6, but you got to understand, there's only two people running in the 10.6s. Two, maybe three. Sha'Carri Richardson ran a 10.5.4, but it was 4%, +4 wind aided. But it was the fourth fastest time in any race. Then you got Elaine Thompson-Herah, who ran in the 10.5s, and then you have Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, who runs in the 10.6s. That's two people, basically, if you want to add on Sha'Carri, whose time actually without the win would have came to a 10.7.5. So Sha'Carri doesn't even run in the 10.6s on a regular. You have two people who runs in the 10.6s. Usually they win at 10.7 something. Tori ran a 10.7.1. those are prime genetics. Somebody's baby was going to be quick. So I feel sad about the situation. I'm listening to more people talk about it as it comes out. That's the only way I'm following it. I'm not actually digging for information because there's a lot of stuff that's being said, and we won't know until the final coroner report. And when we do get the coroner report, I still think a year after it, something else is going to come out about it. I just don't think this is going to come out and then boom, it's over. We still hear stuff about what happened to Kurt Cobain. You know what I'm saying? We still hear stuff about what happened to Michael Jackson and stuff like that. And, and Prince and other people that we loved. Every now and then something, oh, this really happened. Oh, that really happened. You know what I mean? So that's my thoughts on Tory. Very, very sad situation. And it was really crazy. All the people around the world who admire you, you can't call on them for help. They admire what you do as an athlete, but if you listen, my rent is due and I don't have any money. Can somebody give me a job? Can somebody I'm pregnant, I know it's my fault, I'm the one who did this. I'm really having some mental issues right now is can I, borrow some money and somebody get me a job? I'll do this, I'll do that. I'll be a spokesperson for you. I'll be a track coach. You think Tory Bowie couldn't have been a track coach? You think Tory Bowie couldn't walk into an HBCU or even better, somebody, one of these Big Ten schools, and wouldn't have been considered? At once, I was the fastest woman in the world, or the third fastest woman in the world, in the whole United States. Yeah, what's going on? I mean, you think Tory Bowie couldn't went to Florida State? She couldn't go to FAMU and said, listen, I would like to be get on your coaching staff. Not asking for much. How about that? I just think that, I just wish she would have asked for help with her expertise. And listen, 32, you can still compete. You can compete in the Masters. And, there are some of her competitors who still compete, but they compete in the Masters. Veronica Campbell-Brown, she still competes. But she can't run the Olympic times she used to, but she can still compete. It's just not at that level, so they run in the Masters. They still run. They're still fast. They're still running 11.2s, 11.3s, but when it comes to the fastest women in the world, 11.2, 11.3, that's not going to get it. You're going to lose. You're going to. The fastest race in history, the one who came in last was Sha'Carri Richardson. She ran 11.1. It's the fastest women's race. She ran 11.1 and came in last. So, but Campbell-Brown can still go 11.2, 11.3. But it's way off the pace when somebody is going to run a 10.6. It's so far behind. It's not even worth it. And that's when they're just like, I don't have that type of speed anymore. What it is you don't have those type of reflexes anymore. That's what it is. The fast twitch muscles are burning out. The red twitch muscles, they're burning out. Anyway, so that's what I think about it. Let me know what you think. still here, so just gonna make some more music. Unless you have another question, don't forget to like the video if you haven't already. I appreciate the likes. I don't know how do you say your name. Jay Jettas Rhodes. Say that. I like that. Oh, this is sound like I put an ad on it. No, Natalie's not here. I told you Natalie that she unsubscribed. Oh, natural in the house. No, she's not here. She unsubscribed. Oh, there she is. She is here. You know what? I didn't realize that was Natalie. I thought you unsubscribed. I thought you were somebody else. Well, yeah, you were right. I was wrong. I didn't know that was her. That's because there's an X in front of her name. I ain't even bothered. Hey, listen, I told you. Man. Bro, you're too much. Don't start messing with the girl. Start messing with her, dude. You're too much. She gets mad about that. She doesn't like it. I'll tell you now, bro. Only she knows who to talk to about it. That was off time. Anyway, so that's what I think about Tori Bowie. Every day people are making videos about Tori, and I don't know where they're getting their information from. I just find it like, where are you guys getting this from? It's a mystery to me. about Tori Bowie? Tori Bowie was a track star, and that's the only sport that I follow is track. And she asked me, what do I think about Tori Bowie? Yeah. I told her I made a whole video about it, but things are, like I said, evolving, and we know more now than we did 10 minutes ago. You know what I'm saying? So it's popping now. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, man, from the very beginning, I was like, somebody did her in. But people are like, don't say that somebody did her in. I'm like, nah, somebody did her in. 32? Mm-mm. No, somebody did her in. Now they're talking about the woman was crazy. I'm like, she's throwing eggs at somebody's apartment door and wielding a knife. If you're outside pregnant, throwing eggs at somebody's door and wielding a knife, you know what that sounds like to me? You went over there, put a baby in her, and decided, I don't want the child, after convincing her to keep the child past a certain limit. Because, once you have the child goes past a fetus goes past a certain limit, it's like nobody's going to take that baby out of you. It sounds like she was upset at a man. And they did mention a man. Now, I don't know if he's the one who did this, but I got my money on the neighbors. The male neighbor is a male neighbor that's involved. I got my money on there was some coitus going on. There was some, horizontal bopping going on. And, because here's the thing about females. Females look for the highest energy signature and they gravitate towards it. And they look for what's available to them at the time. This is why a lot of females will leave their mate, is because that mate's energy signature will go down, and then they're just like, I want a higher energy signature. This is why a married woman of 10 years will gravitate towards a rapper. Some young rapper came out of nowhere, and she'll be like, yeah, I love my husband, love my kids, but I'm about to go and let this rapper and his friends do whatever they want to me, and then come back to my husband, except the husband, he finds out about it. He's like, you might as well just go on about your life. We've seen this over and over. We've seen Future do it. Future did it to Scottie Pippen. He had a higher energy signature than Scottie Pippen did, because he's not that guy anymore, according to her. She's got kids, Bob. What happened? She jumped on Future's plane. He flew her to her house, and he was knocking her out in the hallway with flip-flops on, then made a song about it, then sang that song to everybody in the whole wide world whenever he went on tour, and said, no disrespect, but, I wrote those lyrics when I was, banging your wife. And I said, I just did whatever in Gucci flip-flops. That's where those lyrics came from. He was actually sleeping with another man's wife and did this. Of course, when Scottie found out what was going on, he's like, I forget you. And then she went out and dated Michael Jordan's son. And then started messing with one of his friends. And it's just a whole mess. And she's almost 50 years old. Well, Scottie Pippen turned around and grabbed himself a 23-year-old. He turned around and said, you know what? It is what it is. Now, regardless of Scottie Pippen is guilty or, doing whatever, the truth is women gravitate towards the highest energy signature and what's available at that time. And to me, I think that the neighbor is more involved in this situation than we know of. That's just what I think. There's some man somewhere who got Tori pregnant. And there is no doubt in my military mind that person is connected with this incident. Heavily connected. Heavily connected. And it will come out in the wash. Somebody might be looking at some jail time. Isn't that smooth? That's what I think. Well, that's smooth, man. Write a song about that. Or you can write a song about lost love one. It's a good lost love song. That's a good. Woo, that's a good lost love song. You start the lyrics off with "You Lost Your Love." Lost my love. Lost my love. Said she wasn't coming tonight. You can write to this. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, lost my love. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Uh, 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 uh. Okay. I got a little something there. Oh, let me see if I stretch this out a little bit. What I can get out of it. Just mess around with it before I make something else. Track and field, track and field. The lifetime of a sprinter is only like a good 5-6 years. It really is. Lifetime of a sprinter is very quick. If they make it to 10 years, you're surprised. Usually nobody is running at high level past 10 years. And they're usually not 40, 50 years old. There has been one person that I know of who was running in their 40s, and he was a speedster. He ran for Sir Kitten Niebers. Forgot what his name was, but he was running 100. He was almost 50 years old and running against Usain Bolt in the qualifiers for the Olympics. He qualified for the 100. It's the last race I seen him run. I forget what this guy's name is. He's amazing, amazing. He still runs. It's amazingly fast. He had the fastest start. And makes so bad he had the fastest start. He started faster than everybody, but everybody catches him at about 60, 70 yards. But usually people don't run track, especially sprints. Sprinters' lives are usually well under 10 years. They just don't last long. And I think the longest, I think him and Justin Gatlin had the longest sprinting life history that I could see. Tyson Gay's wasn't too short either, but Tyson Gay and Justin Gatlin were known for using drugs. Tyson Gay got banned twice. Justin Gatlin, I think he got banned 3 times for using drugs. So that boosted their career. I'm gonna get Justin Gatlin stopped running. He had gray hair when he stopped running. So he was out there for a minute, but like I said, he was a 3-time drug user, 2 or 3 times, where he actually got banned for it. So, yeah. And they didn't find that out until he won his first Olympics. You know what I'm saying? Now, let me pop some of this up so I can see what. Okay. I'm going to start off with that. All right. Hold on a second, you guys. I'm going to start off with that. Bring this in later. Take this bass out. Take this bass out. Bring this in. I'm gonna take it out right here. Bring it back in here. Yeah, like that. Forgot what that guy's name is, but I used to love to watch that dude run because he was so quick. So Kitson Nevers. Of course, he was a black man. Black people are the fastest people on the planet. We're the best at a lot of sports. Most contact sports, we're the best. I don't know if we're the best hockey players in the world. We don't have the best record for that. We got the best for football, track and field, baseball. We're kind of. I think the white guys got us on baseball. Yeah, I think they got us on baseball. Powerlifting, we're still debating that because of Derrick Henry, or I think that's what his name is. Waiting for him to win a national championship and strongman competition. Waiting for him to win that strongman competition. So there's that. But most contact sports, wrestling, I think the Russians got us in wrestling. I ain't gonna lie about that. The Russians, I think they got everyone in wrestling. So, yeah. Let me see what you sound like here. Yeah, I think the Russians got us all in wrestling. But for the majority of contact sports, black people are at the top of the, let me see if somebody said anything. Yeah. Black people are at the top of the, and even though there are some super quick white folks out there, there's just not, they just can't, like everybody was hoping that Abby Steiner was going to come out and blow people away. Abby Steiner is fast. She's actually from my city. She lived right up the street from here. Well, a couple miles, about 5-6 miles from here. But Abby Steiner's quick. But, she's still young, so we got to see where it's going to go. But once she came up against it, once she had to put on her big girl panties, woo! She's like, man, you guys do this all the time? Like, man, she started running against him, even some Americans. I mean, Abby Steiner has to face T.T. Terry. You know what I'm saying? T.T. Terry's running 10.85. You got to face Aaliyah Hobbs. You got to face Sha'Carri Richardson again. But now Sha'Carri Richardson is out of prime, and she was beating you in college. You caught her in the 200. She still beat you in the NCAA. You passed her in the indoor and outdoor. You hold the record for the indoor 200, which was held by Marion Ottey of Jamaica. So Abby Steiner for the win on that. But now colleges are this is what I'm saying. The transition to go in the pros is so different because your coaching staff changes. The atmosphere that you're nestled into when it comes to college is completely gone. That whole support system is gone. And now you have to pay people who you think are going to give you the best advantage to go and continue to hold your Nike contracts or whoever you got contracts with. See, now you're no longer running for a school or for a banner and for the, parades. Now you're actually running because if you can't run this fast anymore, guess what happens to you? You lose your contract. You lose your contract, you got to go find a regular job. And that's just it, and that's all. If you haven't noticed, Sha'Carri Richardson has just ran a blazing time of 10.72. She's leaving competitors in the dust. She just beat Shericka Jackson in the 100. Shericka Jackson was in that 100. T.T. Terry was in that 100. Old girl from England, Dina Asher Smith was in that 100, running 10.85s. These women all go 10.8s. All go. This was no joke. It was a loaded, for sure. You know why she's gotten her act together and she ain't out there acting a damn fool? Because it all depends on her pockets. You go out there, you want to smoke weed, fine. You can't run the Olympics. You can't run the Olympics. Guess what's going to happen? You're going to lose your support. You lose your support, go get a day job. You want to act up on the plane and talk to people crazy? You're going to need to get a day job. We don't care how fast you are. If you can't represent us, you're going to need a day job. That's what's going to happen. She's a whole, she's still got an attitude. She's still, listen, she crossed the line when she ran a 10.5 something and was parading before she crossed the line. It was the 4th fastest time in female track history. And she was parading before she crossed the line. Anytime you break any form in track, your body automatically slows down. Automatically. She crossed the line like this. Before she even got to the line, she was like taking strides to the lines, her hands was up, completely out of form. But she won. So I'm just saying, like the whole situation with, when these people, they do so good in NCAA. Let's take Oduduru. Divine Oduduru is a prime example of the reality of the day. This is the reality, Divine Oduduru. You won the NCAA in the 100 and in the 200. You cleaned people's clock. You was that dude. Nobody can touch you. You even did your African ceremonial dance when you were, because I think he's Nigerian. But as soon as the college let you go, as soon as you were like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and take a contract, go ahead and make some money out here, boom. As soon as they let you go, what happened to Divine Oduduru? His first race, he got blown away. He got blown away. When you're coming up against Brumel, there ain't no African ceremonial dance when you're coming up against the fastest kid in history. Trayvon Brumel is the fastest kid in history. Nobody ran a 9.98 in high school. Trayvon Brumel, 9.98, 9.99 in high school non-wind aided. He's the fastest kid in history. Nobody. You're not out there celebrating when you come up against that. No. That kid from Canada? No, you ain't celebrating with him either. You're not celebrating with these cats who ran against Usain Bolt. You're not coming into the game and throwing up and, you're not doing it. Because they understand the assignment. What happened to Divine Oduduru? He got caught for using drugs. He's banned from running. Better get a day job. See, it's different. Now you got to pay these coaches. Now everything is exposed. See, in college, you don't really hear about people using drugs, even though they're using drugs. But they don't really drug test you and all that like they do once you get out here and you're running in other countries. You're running in the Melrose Games. You're running in, in Zurich, and you're running in, Munich. You're crossing the water. Oh, but no, see, they're going to test you. They tested him, found out it's like you can't run. They banned him quickly. You ain't seen Divine since. Sprinters have a very short life, too. Hell, they just banned a woman, and she said that it was something she ate. I forgot her name, too. I like to see her run, too. She was a miler. White woman. Banned her. She's like in her 30s. They banned her for 10 years. That's it for her. That's it. She's out. They banned the girl from Nigeria. Not from Nigeria. I think Nigeria. The speedster from Nigeria. Damn, I forgot her name. Real long name. Sprinter. Last year, she came out in a meet in her hometown, and ran a 10.61. Everybody else was 10 yards behind her or more. It was unbelievable how far she was. And this was the 100. They looked at that race. They looked at old girl And they was like, they looked at the time and they looked at the flash time. So the flash time is what flashes first, and then the real time shows up. They looked at the flash time and was like, nope, ain't no way, you need to be tested. They tested her and banned her quickly. And then kind of they found out the doctor who was giving her drugs, and he's giving other people drugs. This guy, like I said, you got to pay people to stay at that level because your life depends on it. Your livelihood depends on it. When all the college glitz and glamour is over and all that support, you're paying your coach, you're paying somebody to give you the edge. The dude from Canada I was talking about is Andre DeGrasse, super fast guy. And he won the Olympics in the 200. You're paying these people. You're paying every single coach. You're paying any dietitian. Anybody has anything to do with you, you're paying for it. So you get these contracts, you're getting this money. Well, guess what? That money is going right to somebody who's, I don't care if they're just holding the clock. If they're out there at 6 in the morning, you're paying that person to be there. And it's just a different world. You know what I'm saying? And track, man, it's a whole business. None of those people who are out there running are running just because they love it. They are all running because they're getting paid to do it. And they're paying people to keep them at a certain level. You know what I'm saying? And when they find out that they can't compete at that level, especially if they're young and they come into the game and they find out that they can't compete at that level, they start cheating. They start cheating. They start looking at each other like Carl Lewis looked at Ben Johnson when he cleaned his clock and ran at 9.89. Carl Lewis was looking like, wait, what? And now you find out that Carl Lewis was a big-time drug user. He actually spoke out against Usain Bolt. He said, yeah, anybody who can run 9.58 is using drugs. Usain Bolt was just like, wait, what? Like, I know you ain't talking. Only reason why you didn't get busted is because they hid it from everybody. You got busted. Tim, freaking what his name is, he got busted. Linford Christie, he won the Olympics too. He got busted. They all got busted for drugs. They all got busted. When they tried to interview Linford Christie, he wouldn't even answer. He's like, I'm not answering. He's like, the interview's over. How you think Big Linford Christie won the Olympics? He was using. For sure. It's only a matter of time before they're going to ask Otto Bolden the same thing. From Namibia, Otto Bolden is an announcer. He's a commentator. They're going to ask him the same thing. The question's going to be asked to him in public. Otto Bolden ran a 9.76 and pointed at the clock when he crossed over. He crossed the line pointing at the time and ran a 9.76. No, you don't do that. You know what I'm saying? And this is the time Darrell Green was on top. And he had just lost to Darrell Green. And, they were interviewing Darrell Green while he was standing there. And he was like, Darrell Green, you're the fastest man, on the planet. And Otto Bolden said, for now. He was like, yeah, for now, he's the fastest man. No, you didn't beat him when it counted. You didn't beat him when it counted. I'm just saying, when their livelihood depends on it, they start doing things. If they don't have Usain Bolt's natural talent, they start doing things, and then it all falls apart. Even Shirley Ann Fraser Price got, she said it was something she ate or whatever, but they didn't make a big deal out of it. But Shirley Ann Fraser Price still runs a 10.60. It's like something ain't right. Look at what happened to shoot, I can see her face. Damn, an American sprinter, female, Carmelita Jeter. What happened to Carmelita Jeter? Carmelita Jeter at one time was the fastest living woman. She ran a 10.64. She was the fastest living woman. Meaning FloJo still had the record for 10.49. Carmelita Jeter ran a 10.64. What happened to her? Injuries. She got injured. And she couldn't come back from her injury and sustain her speed, and that was it for her. One injury took her out of the game. That was it. And she couldn't hold pace anymore. She tried to get back out there. She could not accelerate at that high speed and hold that speed. Carmelita Jeter was great after the 60. When you're looking at sprinters today and you're wondering how can they run so fast, or plyometrics and all the stuff that they're doing, and when you're looking at the races and you start picking apart the race, you got to look at who's using what to get where. Christian Coleman is the fastest man ever from 1 to 60. He runs a 6.39 in the 60. There is no one who has ever ran as fast as he has. Matter of fact, I think he has a top 3 times. This is in history. Christian Coleman dodged being drug tested 3 times in 1 year. Is he using? Probably. Listen, his sprinting life is going to come to a screeching halt. A screeching halt. Noah Lyles will be running far past what Christian Coleman is going to be doing. Christian Coleman also won NCAA. He ran for Texas. He has the fastest start than anyone in history. He was beating Usain Bolt off the line. Usain Bolt didn't catch him until the end. And in the last race, Usain Bolt lost. Christian Coleman came in second. Justin Gatlin came in first, Christian Coleman, and then Usain Bolt. Is he using? The answer is probably yes. He dodged 3 times, you're using. But just think about that, 6.39. Aaliyah Hobbs is another one I'm skeptical of, but I'm hoping it's not true. She is the second fastest woman in history in the 60. She just ran like a 6.9 something. It's a ridiculous time. She even beat for Swoboda. Swoboda was queen of the hill for a minute. Not in 100, because after 60 meters, Swoboda, she fades quickly. But her 60's white chick too. Her 60, blazing. Leah Hobbs took her down. However, if you look at Sha'Carri Richardson in NCAA, when she ran in the 60s, she got beat by who? T.T. Terry. Now, and this is in the 60, in the 100, T.T. Terry got nothing for Sha'Carri Richardson. She's beaten her every time. Especially this year. She's got absolutely no answer for 60 meters and above. She's got no answer. As a matter of fact, nobody does. Nobody is catching her right now. Now, she hasn't ran against the big 2. She's ran against the big 3, but she hasn't ran against the big 2 this year yet. She hasn't ran against Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, and she hasn't ran against Elaine Thompson-Herah, and she hasn't ran when it counts. That's Sha'Carri Richardson's big thing. But you got to understand, from 0 to 50, you look like you're winning. 60 yards hit, 65 is here, you already recognize that the race is over. And I mean it's over. Because Sha'Carri Richardson does not decelerate like most people. There's a white girl from Switzerland who used to do the same thing. She was beating, all the black women in the 100 and in the 2, especially in the 200. And I forgot what her name was. Big, strong white chick. But she was beating people in the 200 because of her deceleration rate, not because of her acceleration rate. When you hit 60, 70 meters, most people can't run any faster. There's also a grid that shows where people hit their top speed and it hits bright red, and then it starts fading into yellow when you're slowing down. Most people are in the yellow when they're slowing down. Sha'Carri Richardson is still in the red when she crosses the line because she's not slowing down this much. Another person who has this ability is the chick who runs the 200, the chick who goes to Harvard, Thompson, Gabby Thomas. Gabby Thomas has the and listen, Gabby Thomas has a little inbuilt cheat code. Gabby Thomas does not build up sugar lactate. She doesn't do it. Her body doesn't do it, which is a huge advantage when you're running sprints. If you ever ran sprints and then your muscles get tight and you start getting butt lock, and that's because of the sugar in your muscles. Gabby Thomas' body does not do this. What does that do? It allows her to run the 200 and the 100, but the 200, it allows her to not decelerate because she isn't getting, locked up or anything. So if you notice, Gabby Thomas' stride still stays the same. But if you look at Sha'Carri Richardson in the 200, her stride gets shorter. It gets shorter when in the 200. When she's at about 150, this is how she lost against Angie Ornelas in the NCAA finals. Sha'Carri Richardson had everybody shot out the block like a bat out of hell. Boom, 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 boom. Angie Ornelas caught her, stayed with her, outleaned her. Won the NCAA in the 200. Great race. You guys should go check it out. But yeah, track is the only thing that I follow. But like I said, it's a business now. And I just think that these, I think that Tori Bowie's death is going to bring to light a lot of things that are happening in the track world. Once they do a toxicology report and they make it public, we're going to find out a lot of interesting things. And another thing is, if Tori's death had anything to do with anything that she had taken during her track and field life, if there's any type of, cardiovascular enhancing drug that she's taken, and let's say that it's not foul play. Let's say she died of natural causes. Well, it wouldn't be natural. But let's say there's no foul play like they're saying. She just, boom, she was here, fell over, boom, it was up. They're going to look at the heart, they're going to look at the lungs, they're going to look at the brain, they're going to look at they're going to look at the blood, right? First thing, of course, they're going to look at the blood. They're going to do all type of tests. And because she ran track, they're going to look for certain things, that can, cause you to be pretty much a superhuman at one time. But it has the effects of it, the long-lasting effects of people who take these is that, for one, their sprint life is shortened. 5-6 years of this stuff. 2, you might have, who knows? I don't know, loss of hair. You might have, your hormones are going to be out of whack. I don't know because I don't take the stuff. But what I'm saying is, you might have lasting effects that are a lot like, well, because it's a steroid, these are steroids, performance enhancement drugs, that will have the same effects as it do to people who use weightlifting steroids. Now, when we look at people like Mike Pitta, who wasn't a who wasn't a this wasn't an old man, Mike Pitta. He was a bodybuilder. He was a big dude. He looked like he was in shape. He's dead. He's dead. And there are a whole bunch of weightlifters who are passed on right now. They didn't see 45. They're gone. So, some of these reasons can be, I'm just going to speculate, probably an enlarged heart. Maybe an arrhythmia took them out. Maybe a blood clot took them out. But when you look at all these deaths when it comes to bodybuilding, it's because of the steroids. That's it, and that's all. I mean, you actually got some of these guys who are like, I'm not doing this anymore. And they're trying to save their own lives because they're having heart attacks. And they're talking about it openly like, yeah, I was on steroids. I was bench pressing 650, but boom, I had a heart attack. They can't climb up under, 405 without struggling. That's a big deal to us, but to them, they was putting up 405 10 times. When you're putting up 650, 700 pounds, 405 is nothing. You're warming up with 405. Some of these guys cannot climb up under 405. They won't do it. It's way too heavy. So I'm saying that when we look at Tori, if they find anything in her blood, that matches anything that these other performers have taken and they passed away, then it's going to come back to track and field. It's going to come back to the business. Remember, track and field is a business. It's going to come back to the business. And when it comes back to the business, they're going to start pointing fingers at who's involved in what. And this whole thing could blow up. Anytime there's a death in the family, there's things that need to be discovered. And in the track family, it's a family. Everybody knows each other. Track and field is a whole family. They all know each other. They know how to compete against each other. They know what each other's weaknesses are. They all know, just like the boxing world, just like football, track family is a family. They know who they're running up against. They know if they got a chance against this person or not. They know if they're looking at third or fourth place instead of first. They know this. If somebody's in peak performance, they're like, okay, if I just take third, I'll be doing good. That's what they do. They get on the line and they say, I can beat her, but I can't beat these three. Or I can't beat these two. So if I can just beat this one person over here, I'll at least get this paycheck. And that's it, and that's all. If these people don't show up, they're just like, if I win this, I get this much money. What's the meet record? The meet record, I'm not going to beat the meet record, so. But if I just win, I'll get this much money. You know who you're fighting. You absolutely know who you're fighting. So I'm just saying, if this is something that had to do with something she took and was constantly taking, and it got past the rules and regulation, and it caused her heart to be enlarged, and suddenly she lost her life, and there was a baby involved. Yeah. It's going to come right back to track. And they're going to look at what drug it was, and they're going to track down that drug. And possibly anybody who's flipping that drug. Because any drug that's out there is administered by some type of doctor. Okabari is the girl who I was talking about who just got banned for drugs. She's from I believe Nigeria. And she ran 110.60. As soon as they saw the race, they were like, "You're banned." Blessing Okabari is her name. So the reason why they would do that and say, okay, Tori Bowie just died, there was no foul play, but her heart was enlarged. Why was this happen? Why did this happen? They're gonna go and say she had this, and this in her blood. And they're gonna go, well, if she had this is a high amount of whatever, and they're gonna go, this can only come from one place. Then they're gonna track down where that is, and then they're gonna track down who can actually administer this type of whatever it is. And there's only going to be a few people in the track world. There's not a whole, hundreds and hundreds of doctors in the track. No. Remember when in football, when the Saints, remember when the Saints were out there, just smashing people and, doing all kind of stuff, and one of theirs died, and then, all this stuff came out about, the doctor who was, giving people certain drugs so they could hit harder and all this. I'm telling you, when somebody dies in whatever athletic field that they're in it is not foul play, it always comes back to the sport. When it comes back to the sport, then, some doctor's going to be, trying to get out of the country. Because it'll be like, I gave her, but I didn't. Yeah, you did. You knew. And that's the whole problem with doctors when they take that Hippocratic oath. See, they know administering you something can cause your vessels to tighten up, and then boom, your heart is being strained because the blood's not going through your heart like it should. But nonetheless, you don't know this. You don't know this because they don't tell it to you because you won't buy it from them. All you know is you're super fast at this time. Your reaction time is fast. Your hearing, your eyesight, your what I'm saying? Your body is just doing stuff that's at such a peak level that you can barely understand. Listen, I knew this one chick who used to run, and she said, I used to run sprints, me and my brother. She said, one time I won a race, and she said, I was running so fast, when I crossed the line, I cried. See, there is a peak performance that everybody can hit. And when you hit it, you're not used to it. You're trying to figure out, how did all the stars align where I could do this? And how can I do it again? It's just that your body peaks and then boom. But when you take performance enhancement drugs, your body is doing this unnaturally. And when it does it, you're out of control. You're out of control. What you're trying to do is rein it in and trying to be under control. You're out of control. When Blessing Okabari ran a 10.6, she just said, I'm just going to run. And she sprinted the whole thing on her toes, left everybody behind. Listen, if Blessing Okabari was in control of what her body was doing, she would have slowed down. She could have won that race in 11-1 and not been detected. She ran it in a 10.6. She didn't have to do that. It wasn't the world championship. It wasn't anything. It was just a race. But nonetheless, it was administered by the track and field, laws and protocols. So once they saw it and they clocked her, they was like, that's it. Then they tracked what was in her system back to her doctor. They found the doctor who administered that to her. And they found the text messages that they were sending back and forth in emails, because they were always in contact with each other and where to pick it up and what this does. And like, there's a whole thing that they found. And that's just what Blessing Okabari. Once they caught the doctor, they started looking at all the people who were involved in it. This is one reason why the Russians, at one time, the Russians, the whole athletic department of Russia was not allowed to compete in the Olympics. they were all banned. They banned the whole country from competing because they were all using. The fastest time in the 400 women's is held by a Russian. Russian female, built like a man. She ran a 47. I believe that woman's Russian. Yeah, I think she's Russian. Let me look this up. She ran a 40, she ran it in 47 seconds. Just to give you some perspective on how fast that is. The next closest person, the fastest person right now in the 400 is running 49, something like that. 49, maybe 40. If Cindy McLaughlin runs the open 400, she might be able to run 48, but mostly 49. But let me look this up. Fastest 400 meters. The current world record is held by Marietta Koch with a time of 47.60. The next person after that for the indoor record is 49, held by Formika Bull. And the next person after that ran ran in the 49s. That's 2 seconds. 2 seconds. So Marietta Koch. I believe she is Russian. They banned the whole Russian athletic, everybody in Russia, swimming, everyone. What country? Oh, she's German. So I was wrong. That's why I like to check. But I bet she was using. As a matter of fact, the Germans were looking for an edge when they started running up against black people. So the Germans were, Hitler believed that his country, his race of people were, of course, the best at everything. So Hitler got a huge shock when he saw Jesse Owens run. He was pissed. He's pissed at the speed of Jesse Owens. Like, how is this possible that this guy could, black guy? And just to give you a little insight on Hitler, Hitler did not hate black people. He didn't like us, but he didn't hate us. But I mean, he didn't hate us, but he didn't like us because there were actually colored troops that fought for Russia. And thing about it is, there were already African soldiers in Germany, and he was not happy about that. The reason why he wasn't happy is because they were sleeping with the white women, and the white women love African men. They still do. These particular soldiers were Senegalese. And the thing about men from Senegal and women, but especially men from Senegal, is they are very tall. So once the white women got a whiff of that, men who were, taller than the German men, uh, very dark skinned, very alluring, and let's just face it, probably, well endowed. It was a wrap. And it's been a thing ever since. I used to live in Germany, so I know firsthand that the white women over there will gravitate towards any dark skinned man because of this. They have this depiction in their head of, and you'll also see a lot of war babies, and they'll be, mixed Germans, so mixed, so they'll be mixed with Senegalese or mixed with African or African American and German. And it's like a big thing over there to see some of these children because they're beautiful, and they pretty much, come from what happened, these wars that happened, and then these men that settled in Germany, and that whole thing was going on. But Hitler was not happy about that. And of course, he, had a couple of them imprisoned and so on and so forth. But yeah, he didn't try to execute, them at mass. Of course, some of them lost their life because of it. But yeah, so Hitler was never happy with black men because of the women. So yeah, so as far as track and field is concerned, we need to wait on those toxicology reports. And I still think there's foul play, but if there's not, well, listen, if a doctor gives you something and it harms you 5 years from now, that's still foul play, especially if they know what it can do. A lot of doctors who administer these performance enhancing drugs, they are absolutely aware of what can happen to you. They know that your heart can swell. They know that your brain can swell. They know that your vascular system can shrink. They know that your vas deferens will shrink. So your reproductive system will not be the same, meaning your sperm count will be a lot less. As far as women are concerned, they know that, certain things they give you can cause your uterus to, act in malfunction. Dina Asher Smith was she was just competing and she caught a cramp in her foot, and she had to stop the race. And when the announcers asked her what's going on, she was like, my period. You know what I'm saying? And so it is a factor. Of course, we don't really care about that. But when you start looking at the science, of running and then running fast, and when you're a woman, you always have to add in the fact that, hey, is it my time of the month? And how can this affect my racing? We don't really think about it because we don't have this issue. But, Dina said, hey, this is a factor for us. I caught a cramp in my leg because I was ovulating or whatever the hell it is. Not ovulating, what I don't know. But my thing was happening. So my body was out of whack. And, for me to hit top speed and stay that way, I can't have any mishaps in my system. And this is just something that happens to us every now and then. So I was like, okay, from a scientific level, all right. From an entertaining level, I don't care. But from a scientific level, there it is. That's some info. There it is. You might not feel up to running on, the biggest day of your life, but hey, you're here, and this is the business that you're in. This is what you chose. This is what God chose for you. This is what you're good at. So there's that. But nonetheless, like I said, if there are doctors involved in this, it can even get worse. Because if there is doctors involved in this, the doctors can turn around and look at the committees that test and don't test and say yes and no. And they can look at the committees and say, well, they're the ones who told me I can do this. Let's look at Marion Jones. The thing about Marion Jones is Marion Jones kind of blew the door open for this. Who really blew the door open was Ben Johnson. But Marion Jones blew it open for the women. And the way that she kind of blew things open, because Marion Jones is the only person that I know of that went to jail. She went to jail for perjury because she lied. If she would have said, yeah, I'm using, so what, everybody else is, then it wouldn't have been perjury, she would have known. But she lied. She told a bold-faced lie, you can't do it under oath. So they put her in jail for 6 months. Now here's what you don't hear about. Her husband was using too. Marion Jones' husband was a shot putter. He was also using steroids. He didn't go to jail, as far as I know. He did not do a day in prison. Why? Because he didn't lie under oath. Now, if somebody looks at him and says, yes, he did go to jail, that's news to me. He didn't go to jail. So when you look at these situations and, you know, they know a doctor was involved. They know where Marion Jones got this from. But here's the thing. When you called out Marion Jones, you called out Marion Jones not because she was in last place. Do you think they care if you're in last place? Or how about if you're in fourth place? Marion Jones wasn't winning all of her races, even when she was using. But she was coming in first and second. Most of the time it was first, but when they really started to get on her ass is when she beat people by a large margin. When you start coming close to that record, they start looking at you and going, I wonder what you're doing. Or when you haven't been running that well, and then all of a sudden you come out and you're kicking everybody's ass. They'll start testing you. Now, when Carl Lewis started picking on, Usain Bolt laughed about it. And he didn't really come at Carl and say, we all know you were using. He just kind of laughed about it because Usain Bolt's record spoke for itself. When he was 14, he was running at 220 seconds. 14, 15 years old, he was number one in his age group. And Usain Bolt didn't want to run track. He said, my biggest regret is that I didn't take it serious early enough. He was always jovial about it. You're not going to say this person's using and they're just out there having fun. Nobody had a bigger party than Usain Bolt. Even when he lost, people still were clapping for him when he just got beat. He'd still go in the crowd. He'd still do this. And why? Nobody cared about Justin Gatlin just beat you. He's running around with American flag on. Nobody cared. Nobody cared. Nobody cared. They all wanted to, even the mascot wanted to be around Usain Bolt. Why? Because he was having a great time. He's having a great, great time. He said, I didn't take it serious. He go to practice, he's throwing up in practice, but he's like, I didn't take it serious. He's always been fast. And he's like, how are you so fast? He said, probably because of what I eat. I eat a lot of yams. Why is it that his country is the fastest in the world? You can't say because everybody's over there using drugs. They are the fastest people on the planet. How is this possible? It's got to be something that they're eating. They're also one of the poorest countries in the world. As a matter of fact, their star runners, they have financial problems. That's a big thing over there. They're having a lot of financial problems. They're just like, how can I compete? And I'm struggling with, these financial problems because they don't get the same support that America does. If you even look at their kids that are coming up, Look at the twins that are running. They got these two girl twins. They're ridiculously fast. They're going to come to America and wipe the floor with us. They are. It's just going to happen. And they're going to keep doing it. And you can't say that these people are using drugs. The whole of them, they beat us all the time. You can't sit up here and say they're all using drugs. They're some of the poorest people on the planet. Oh, they're all using drugs. It's not even close. How? Fastest man in the 800. African. Joseph Raducci. You ever see that race when he broke the record? His second place person was Cocky. That was his last name. He even broke the record. And he came in second. Go and watch Joseph Raducci run that race. You would think he was a Cadillac or something. It was one of the most amazing things I ever saw in my life. I remember when I was in high school, we had a foreign exchange student from Kenya, and he on a 2-mile run. Let me explain something to you about Kenya. So what Nike does, Nike has a camp in Kenya. And so these kids don't even have shoes. The majority of them that are out there running these ridiculous times, they don't even have shoes. And they watch them run up Kilimanjaro. They have these pathways that these kids run up, and they're running up hills. They're just a bunch of kids out there in the same clothes they had on for the last 3 months, running. No shoes, and Nike's out there watching them. It's why that kid came to your town and blew you away. Because it's nothing to them. They do this all the time. Don't forget the wild is still out there. So animals and whatever, it's not like it's fenced off. Yeah, they still compete with whatever's trying to eat them. And they're just out there, naturally. It's just an amazing thing. I think this whole Tory thing is going to blow wide open. And I think and I'm hoping it does. I'm hoping somebody at the top pays for her death. This is what I'm hoping. I hope it just doesn't get swept under the rug. I hope they dig into this. I hope somebody in some bigwig is trembling. I just ran 2.5 miles this morning. Felt really good. I wish I could run again. One day I want to do a half marathon. Good luck to you. I ran that far once, never did it again. Yeah, good luck to you, good sir. Good luck. I can't even run, to the damn grocery store across the street. It's up for me. It's up for my knees have had it. Shoot. They're inflamed. The tendons are super tight. And, I'm trying to strengthen them up by riding my bike and stuff like that. So that's helping them getting stronger, but they're still super sore whenever I try to run. That impact, that dorsal flex impact, or that heel toe gait, that heel toe, that dorsal flex, it don't matter. Doesn't matter how I do it. My dorsal flex or if I heel toe. It doesn't matter if I pronate, supinate, it don't matter. My knees are like, this is hurting. And it's the tendons in them. Now, if I didn't have that going on, I would be 50, 60 pounds lighter. And I'd probably hold down a 6 minute flat mile. Yeah. Yeah. I'd probably hold down a 6 minute flat. I can see myself doing a minute 30 in the 8 or each lap. A minute 30 is not hard. Each lap. You know what I mean? So I'd probably, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I'd probably be able to get into the 5s pretty easy if I didn't hurt that bad, and if I had a track to go to. My biggest problem is there's no hills here, other than my knees. There's no hills, but I would be able to climb, and I'd be able to go high 5s. Lowest at this age probably be like maybe a 540. But when I was 30, I was doing 455 on the road. My thing is, I treated it like a sprint. Yeah, I treated the whole thing like it was like I was running up against cars. That's the way I've always looked at it. Yeah. The biggest problem back then is I didn't lift weights with my legs a lot because it would make my legs tight. So because I didn't do it, I was my stride was great, my cadence was great, my drafting technique was great, my body position I needed work on, but once I started running 4 or 5 miles, I got that better at high speed. So with an open stride, I was good, but I didn't have the power. When I was in Kansas, when I hit Fort Raleigh, I ran into some runners, and one guy was his name was Hardy, black dude. He had freaking thighs. His damn calves were redone. I was like, ah. He's like, yeah, let's go running. I hit top speed, top stride, downhill. I was like, no way he's going to keep up with me. He ran past me. I was like, how did you just? He was like, my calves. Like, my calves are so big. And then I watched him run up against some guys who we were in a down and back race that was 7 miles one way. And he couldn't hang with them. They beat him. So his acceleration was ridiculous. But, after, 7, 8 miles, he couldn't keep up with some of these guys he were running against. He finished the race, though. I didn't finish the race. I fell out of the race. So that, just made it clear. I'm not a distance guy. I'm a sprint distance guy. Or I was a sprint distance guy. I really liked the mile, but Hardy didn't like the mile. That's what's really crazy is he didn't like the shorter distance sprints. He liked the 8. He didn't like the mile. He liked, the half marathon. Yeah. So that was his discipline. But if he would have did the mile or the 2 mile, I'm sure he could have ran the mile just by listening to him run, his cadence, his turnover, and at the distance that we were running. He ran a mile, just the 15 and the 16. I think he could have ran the 15 in 3 probably 350, 340. He ran a 15, no doubt. Easily. He was just that quick. Plus, he had the wind. He wasn't struggling at all. When we were 2-3 miles into it, he wasn't struggling at all. And I think if he ran a 16, just by what I can remember, he could have went 401, 4 flat, maybe 350, 359. And if he wanted to, like really had the discipline, he could have ran a little faster than that. I know a guy who was running for Ohio State. He ran a 401 in the 16. In the 16, this guy was ranked in the world. Black guy. I met him at work. He was like, yeah, it was me, Rogers, and, somebody else. And I was like, Rogers. Once I got home, I looked up who he was talking about. I was like, you were that deal if you ran with this guy. He's like, listen, I could still do it. I could still run under 5 minutes. And bet me, put some money on the table. I'll do it. I was like, I believe you. That's fast. That's fast. Little skinny guy, glasses, wouldn't believe he can run like that. He's like, I can still run under 5 minutes. He's running a 401 in the 16. That is 59, 61, 62, 59, somewhere around there. No, it would be 50. It would be, excuse me, it would be 61, 61 to be 61, 61, 60, 58, somewhere around there. So last lap would be faster. Your opening lap might be 60. So you might have a 62 in the second lap, and then 61 in the third lap, and then 59 in the fourth lap, because it's always faster. That is incredibly fast. El Garouge is the world record holder in the mile, the 1500. He ran it in what is El Garouge? Because I want to say 340, but I think it's less than that. El Garouge is amazing. He got sick, though. He had some type of, something was wrong with him. I don't even know how to. Hickman El Garouge, 326. $326. 326 flat. The next person is Bernard Lagat, 326.34. Next person is Kiprop. These are all long distance runners too. These guys run marathons too. 326.69, and then Morcelli ran the 327.37. Ridiculous. Go and watch that race. You want to know what speed looks like in a mile? Watch Hickman El Garouge run that record-breaking race. It was so phenomenal. I want to know. Yeah, it's El Garouge. He owns for the 1600 too. His 1600 is 343. That man was incredible. He's still alive. Hickman El Garouge, when he ran a 326 flat, he was, what he did was he waited until the last lap, the bell lap, and usually you have people who are right with you when the bell goes off. He left everyone standing still. And even the announcers could not understand how he left an Olympic field standing and accelerated at 400 yards to go. That's a hell of a kick. He was running down the 200 backstretch as if he was running on a country road. And they were Hickman El Garouge, it's El Garouge. They sound like it was a horse race. And it's El Garouge, and he's coming around, and it's El Garouge. His name is Hickman El Garouge. And he's in the clear, it's El Garouge. And he's going to break the record, it's El Garouge at 326 flat. Amazing. He just opened up on everybody and said goodbye. Just like David Reducci did in the 800. He opened up on every, even the pacer. The pacer had to get out of it. He was running so fast that the pacer had to get out of his. He was get out of the way. The pacer was slowing him down. When David Reducci ran a world-breaking world record of, I believe it's 140, the pacemaker at 400 yards was in David's way. And as soon as the pacemaker veered off, David opened up and left everyone, except Cocky. But he still had him by 10, 15 feet. I'm saying in order to run like this, a lot of Africans do it naturally because they're running in the wild. They're running on uneven ground. If you want to run faster, run on the grass. Don't run on the pavement. Don't run on the sidewalk. Run on the grass. You'll run faster. It builds up more muscle because it's uneven. It forces your equilibrium to balance you out. And, and if you run on higher grass, it's more resistant. So if you run on fresh cut grass, open field, it's still some resistance there. But if you run on grass that hasn't been cut in 2 weeks, your feet are still hitting the blades when your feet come up. So when you do like this, boom, contact, foot goes back, boom, boom, you're sinking into the ground. So when you run on concrete, you don't sink into the ground. So your body has to produce more foot pounds in order for you to hold your stride. Concrete, not so much. Also, you get more injuries on concrete. So that's the big deal about running on grass. That's why grass is better, running on a field. And if you can get tall grass, that's better too, especially if you're running distance, because when your foot hits the ground, your foot is getting resistance. If the grass is like this, you get resistance now. Foot hits the ground, still resistance. Foot comes up, grass here, still resistance, still resistance. And believe it or not, blades of grass can slow you down after a long period of time. You wouldn't think you like blades. No, I'm trying to tell you. You want to get faster. If you want to run a half marathon, if you want your cardiovascular system and your breathing system to respond better when it comes to running. And see, the biggest thing about running is it's not how fast you can run, it's how comfortable you can run. Then it's how fast you can run and stay comfortable. Once you master yourself, once you master your gait, once you master your breathing rhythm, if you're breathing with your mouth open, you're breathing too much. You're taking in too much oxygen. You're going to become oxygenated. So you're doing this. You still got 2 miles to go. and you're running on flat land and you just started, you're in trouble. You breathe through your nose, breathe out through your nose. Until you have to use your mouth, you breathe in through your nose. Then you count your steps. So if you once you get your rhythm going, then you have to watch your shoulders, you have to watch your back. If your shoulders are coming too far forward, your gait is going to be off. So this is your knee. Your knee, extend your leg, boom, knee comes down, boom, back, knee has to pick up. Your thigh is going to lift your knee up. Well, when you look at anybody running distance, especially if you look at Kiprop or, you look at any of those guys, you got to look at their knee lift and then look at their gait and how many times their foot is hitting the ground and where it's hitting the ground. And then you'll start understanding the fact that these guys are running 4-minute miles over 2 miles. One of them just broke the record for the marathon, ran in 1 something, or 2:20, 2:01 or something like that. So your knee lift is very important. If your knee lift is not coming up high enough, then you're not getting as much space. You're not getting all the value out of your stride. So once your stride hit, boom, your knee only goes back so far, then it doesn't come up as far. You're cutting yourself. You're not maximizing your stride. One way to open up your stride is to run downhill. So you find a hill that's nice. It doesn't have to be too steep, but it has to be steep enough where centrifugal force makes you open up your stride. And once you do that, you get yourself into a running rhythm that makes you lift your knee, and you have to watch your arms swing too. So if your arms are coming way up here and you're about to run 2-3 miles, you're wasting your energy. One person who is exemplary when it comes to a running form is Athing Mu. You watch Athing Mu run. For those of you who don't know who she is the fastest woman in the 800. Athing Mu is also a great 200 runner. She also runs 49 in the 400. She runs 155 in the 800, and she also is great in the mile and in the 2 mile. Why? Because of her running stride, her ability to conserve energy. She is great. She's great. She's great when it comes to technique. It is you can't get better than that. It is textbook, but she has mastered it, and she only lifts her arms when she has to. You've seen her last race or her Olympic race against Keely Hodgkinson, who is the second fastest woman in the 800 and is her rival. They're both actually the same age as well. Keely Hodgkinson actually almost beat Athing Mu, but Athing Mu stays unbeaten in the 800. One of the reasons why is because of her technique. Keely Hodgkinson caught her at the 150 mark and came in on her inside and ran up on her inside, which means she slingshotted her. So Athing Mu is here, coming around the bend, but she left the inside lane open. Keely Hodgkinson drafted her on her inside instead of her outside. This was a running mistake, but nonetheless, Athing Mu's not used to losing. So what Athing Mu should have did was she should have had her on the inside and made Keely Hodgkinson slingshot her from the outside. But it was transversed, so she, you know what, I'm done with you. I'm replacing you. So she was on the outside, which means you're running a little extra. Keely Hodgkinson ran in and caught her on the inside. I don't think she'll ever make this mistake again. When she did that, she came in on her inside, and they were running like this. And it's a technique mistake on a track that people make, and they can lose the race like that. But I think Mo was still able to, pick it up and beat Keely across the line. But it scared her and for the first time, and she's beaten her plenty of time before. But like I said, you watch some of these runners, watch Mo Farah. You can even go back and watch, if you watch Kroonemaker Mile, or go watch some races in Carlsbad. Those are all road races. There's no grass. No grass. Watch the races in Carlsbad. A very yuppie area. I don't particularly like the announcers, but nonetheless, the race is good. It's a down and back race. I think it's a 5K down and back. It's a fast race, but you get to see some runners that you don't hear about, but you get to see their technique and how they compete against each other, how they draft against each other, how they will let somebody pass them so they can take the brunt of the wind, how if they're running into the wind, against the wind, how they use the wind for their advantage. Everything counts when you're running at that speed and that distance. Everything counts. You have to take into account everything, whether it's wet outside, whether it's not. You even have to use different shoes according to, what you're running on. If it's 100% concrete, you might prefer a pair of 994s. You might put yourself into some New Balance instead of ASIC gels. But if there's grass involved, you might grab yourself some Sauconys and say, let's go. You know what I mean? I'm just saying there's different shoes for what, how far you're going to run, especially if you're going to do a half marathon or you want to do a half marathon. You have to look at what half marathon that you want to do. So if your half marathon is going to be some road, some grass, then you need to be making a phone call and find out what is the best shoe for that. And you should do that way before you should be practicing in that shoe. Runner's World is a great company to call, and they'll break it down to you. They even have therapists that are in the store. And everybody in the store is a runner. Some people actually run 100-mile races. Yeah, try that on for size. They will run 100 miles. Yeah. Through woods and concrete and back to the woods. Yeah. Don't get lost. You plan on doing squats? Front squats, back squats, hack squats? I'm waiting until my back gets a little better so I can, because I owe myself some squats. I was just thinking about them last night. I really do. I owe myself some squats. I might have to see if these are going to help me out. Wrap these around your knee. This goes on the tendon. It's supposed to do a little something for you. El Garouge. That's too bad El Garouge got sick because I would have liked to see him run more. It's El Garouge. It's Hitman El Garouge. 326. That is just ridiculous. 3:53 in the. I mean, that's ridiculous. I also like to watch. I like to watch road miles. Remember my cross country and track and field days. Gotta love those. I remember mine too. Running through the woods. Man, running through the woods in Germany. Oh my God. I thank God for those memories. Running in Germany. Some of the best memories I've ever had. Running into it night, day, didn't matter. Just run, just the air. Oh my God, the air quality. Me and the homies. Me and the homies would take off. Me and this one guy named Bynum. We had a 5-mile trek. Well, he had a 5-mile trek. What this maniac would do is, once he found out that I could run, he would come and get me at 10 o'clock at night. You know, he'd come walking down the hall. Pow! Let's go running. Like, man, I'm tired. It's 10 o'clock. Let's go. Okay, let's go. He made me faster. My son just won T-ball. That's what's up. Wow, that's what's up. Yeah, a little T-ball action. Love a little T-ball. Yeah. Yeah, a little T-ball, man. Cracking it. Boom. Hit first base. Little Ricky Henderson. Yeah. Ricky Henderson was the MLB league leader in stolen bases. Black guy. He's so fast. He can steal those bases, man. Oh, Ricky. Yeah, I'm going to ride my bike today. I ain't going to ride it as far, though. Yesterday, I went down into... what I'm going to do is I got another bike downstairs. I think it just needs air in its tires. So eventually I'm going to get that one going, and I think I'm going to ride out to the park. There's a park about 5 miles from here. So I'm going to I'm going to plan it out because I need a lock. I need a water bottle and all that to put on, I need the air pump and all that to put on my bike. And then I think I'm just going to start biking it. Start doing some serious biking around town, Make sure my seat is comfortable and, and all that other stuff. And I'm just gonna bike it up. That beach cruiser is nice, but it's too much resistance in it to go far. I don't know what it is, but I can feel the resistance. There's also a bike shop on the other end of town, on the west side. And this bike shop, you can take it there. You can take your specialty bikes and everything, and they'll go ahead and doctor it up. They sell bikes too. Yeah, Tone, you just want medals. I feel you. Lots of them 5K medals and do something challenging. Are you the person who is deployed? Yeah, I lost some weight. Cardio is a must. I lost some weight riding that doggone bike. Yeah, you're the person deployed. Yeah, man. Well, yeah, man, definitely lift weights. Don't make my mistake, especially at your age. Don't make my mistake and then, you're trying to build, stronger legs when you get in your 50s. Don't do that. Get your strong legs now, where your muscles are still growing and your growth is easier Because, like I said, I didn't work out with my legs a lot because I was too busy enjoying running middle distance. The mile is middle distance anymore. You know what I mean? The mile and 2 mile. My 2 mile was 10:26 or something like that. My 2 mile. I thought I was doing something until I seen a guy at Ohio State run a 9 flat 2 mile and come in last. Came in dead last. Dead last. 9 flat. Dead last. I thought I could run until I saw that. I was like, I can't run. Dead last. And he was jogging at the end. He was like, 9 minutes. 9 minutes. Dead last. Just drink that in. Yeah. Daniel Kuhlman is the world record holder for the fastest 2 mile. And it's been unbroken for 24 years. Well, what was his time? What was the fastest 2 mile? Yeah, but what was the time? Running the 2 mile can take 9 minutes or 30 seconds. The average mile running 2 mile is around 20 minutes. What was the fastest time? I don't know. They're not telling me. El Garouge. Okay, the world's best for men. Oh, 7:58. 7:58 2 mile. And I think that's that's in the pre-classic. Bernard Lagat 2 mile was a pre-classic 8:13. Some kid from high school ran an 8:29. Yeah. So, yeah, when it comes to speed, don't chase those guys. I was looking at this thing on World Star Hip Hop, and these girls start fighting. You know how people are, just walking around the streets and having like a block party type of situation. And people always start fighting. But cops came. Cops snatch anybody who they think is fighting. They looked at the wrong chick because this girl turned around and took the freak off. She wasn't even the one fighting, but she saw how the cops were just snatching people up. She turned around. I was like, nope, not that chick. You're not catching her. no man that no normal dude. You're not catching that. You're not catching these chicks who can college girls who can. You're not catching them. You're not catching Abby Steiner in high school. You're not gonna catch her. You can forget that. You can forget it. You're not gonna do it. A beat? No, you're not doing it. You're not catching Abby Steiner in high school. Straight out of Dublin. Straight out of Dublin, you're not catching her. Mm-mm. Shamari Davis, you're not catching Davis. You're not catching them. These chicks, you're not catching them. Their speed is renowned. They'll be long gone before you even think about it. You be a grown ass man trying to catch them. You're not going to catch them little fireflies. They're gone. They are gone. One time I told the cops I can outrun their car. He was like, I don't give a damn. I was like, I can outrun your car. Pissed them off. I've outran cars before. Relax. Yeah, I've outran cars before. From stoplight to stoplight. For a mile. Just beating them to the red light. And they're looking at me like, man, dude's girl is in the car with him. Brand new car, too. He's looking like, as soon as he gets to the red light, here I come. Looking at the next light, he take off. I'm like, okay, you're gonna have to stop. I'm like, catch him again. Get out the car and race me. You don't want this. That's when I was in Germany, fast as heck. I was running from one, I called it gate to gate because there were two gates on a concern and we were on top of a hill. Our base was on top of the hill. 32nd AdCom sits on top of the hill. So if I go out this gate, I have to run downhill and then make a turn and run downhill and then run flat for a mile and then run uphill. That guy didn't catch me until I was at the gate coming in. I just outran him. You know, he's pissed about it, but I didn't care because he thought because he had a new car that, you know, he was cocky. He had his girl in his car. Plus, I was a cook, and everybody looked down on the cooks. I never understood why do you look down on the people who are feeding you. If I don't feed you, you don't eat. An army runs off of its stomach. If the army is hungry, then nobody's fighting. This is what Napoleon found out. That's why he lost. He tried to go up into Russia. He went up in there and his army froze. Literally. Yeah. He ended up spending the rest of his days locked on an island. They had a whole island for Napoleon locked up, and there were ships that circled the island constantly to make sure nobody came and got him off of there. Just imagine you're the only prisoner on an island. That's how dangerous Napoleon was. And he wasn't short. He was like 5'8". Yeah. I'm just saying. No Don't forget to like the video, you guys. Just having some fun. For you guys who are still here, I think there's a couple people still here. Just give me a like is all I ask. You guys have something you want to talk about while I'm here? Not sure how much longer I'll be here. But if you got a question, or you want me to, make a particular type of beat, I will try. Get better at it, but not the best at it. Not the best producer in the world. But I try. I'm probably riding my bike in about an hour. See if I can get some. Just gonna go around the block. Oh, since the sun is out, hell, I might go look for some pennies. I ain't found no pennies in a minute. I found some Jordans though. Found some Jordans, baby. Found these too. Gonna sell both of these. I'll clean these J's up. Oh, retro 13s. Yeah. I'm gonna put them online for I'm gonna sell them on eBay. Yeah, I'm selling them on eBay for let me see how much they are on eBay. Okay. All right. So the average price is $50. I'll take $50. $60, $50, that's what I'm gonna sell them for. Yep, that's it. $60. Yeah, I'm gonna sell them for $60. Yeah. What happened? Yeah, the Under Armours, they going too? Yeah, the Under Armour, let me see how much they are on eBay. Don't hate on me. No. I will sell the heck out of some kids' shoes. How much they going for? Okay, quick $30. Oh yeah, 9, 10, $15. $15. Don't hate, appreciate. Appreciate. Don't hate on me, Hardaway. Hardaway behave, mommy. Hardaway behave because I be hustling. I need to flip some more pennies, man. I need to get my pennies and quarters up there. I need to, man. I got a bunch of them. I need to get my act together. I need to post like. I got a bunch of stuff that needs to be posted. I only have 2 things that are active. Is this active? Well, drop 10%. Why are my other stuff not active? I don't want to promote it. Activate it. Offer bid. No. What? What are you talking? See, I need to spend some serious time on eBay. Promote this thing. So I'm not eligible for promotion. Please try again. I'll just. Damn, my light is not being promoted. Yeah, I need to relist. Yeah, I need to spend some serious time on eBay. A lot of stuff I could be selling, man. Complete. All right, I'm out of here. You guys take it easy.